Yes, we know that King Vijaya or many kings have come to Sri Lanka. Yes, but we don't see any archaeological data. Uh, Many archaeologists will say, well, who knows?
Yes.
Where do
Okay.
you stand?
Yes, that is partly true because up to a certain period, the archaeological evidence is mainly from the, not archaeology evidence, the story history is mostly from the chronicles,
Yeah.
right? So from the time of Vijaya's arrival up to about 2nd century AD, Sadatissa you call
Sadatissa, yes.
Sadatissa, the archaeological evidence are lacking. ඊට ඉස්සල්ලාම තියන්නේ අපේ oldest evidence comes from inscriptions. Inscriptions dating back to 200 BC. We have no small number. We have over 3,000 inscriptions. So those give you a snapshot view of a contemporary writing which is different to history written over 1,000 years. Like when Mahanama wrote the history, he was looking back at events 1,000 years before him. But when you look at the inscriptions 200 BC, that was a real time. Those were being inscribed at that time. From there we know the names, the Nagas, Ayas, it's all appearing quiet, and the people who donated caves, people who occupied caves, the names of the people who had been donors of to Buddhism is all there. So archaeos, archaic meaning old, logi means treatise. It's really a treatise of not only what we dig, what is on the surface also contributes to archaeology. So we have the inscriptions, chronicles, and parallel outside sources, contemporary sources at that time. All this had to be fitted into one picture. But if we find all the, suppose we stick to Mahavamsa, and whatever inscription that we find, we look to correlate into the Mahavamsa, you might go off the track. You look at the inscriptions, decide who was the king, when is this inscription, and then compare it with Mahavamsa, try and collate it, and have an independent opinion whenever you come across an archaeological finding. You have to have a free mind and decide, study, and then try and collate it with the history of the island.
දැන් මේ වගේ කෘතියක් මුද්‍රණය කරන්න ඉතාම විශේෂ හේතුවක් තියෙන්න ඕන ප්‍රකාශකයෙක්ට විජිත යාපා ප්‍රකාශකයන් මේ සඳහා ඔබට කැමැත්ත පළ කරන කොහොමද මේ කාරණාව සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ? ඔවුන්ගේ ආරාධනාවක් ඔබටද ඔබ ආරාධනා කරනවද? ඒ ගැන තොරතුරු කිව්වොත් එහෙම.
Yeah, it's this way. I've already published 3 international books, which had it has been internationally recognized through journals and institutions.
History of medicine, history of science, and dates in medicine.
Yes, this involved nearly put about 20 years of research, and it was published in New York and London simultaneously. But from these publishings, I knew it's where you publish. The origin publishing decides to a major extent the readers.
Yeah.
If I had published this abroad, I would not have brought it to the focus of the Sri Lankans as much, and that defeats my purpose.
Yeah.
So this is why I came to Sri Lanka, and I sat with Mr. Yapa quite a few number of occasions, and discussed, and in fact I looked at his exposure outside Sri Lanka, and I was quite happy his marketing outside Sri Lanka too, while it comes from within. Then in the meantime, I must say I spoke to the other publishers too, but it's like having an interview. You decide who will do the best for my book.
Yes.
So I decided on Mr. Yapa.
And now you are happy.
Yes, happy.
It's,
Quite
we are
happy.
also happy that we have the privilege of having the first interview, hopefully, yes, for television.
Yeah.
And now, when I got the book, I thought it will have more pictures and less content, but it's the other way around. But we have some very valuable pictures also in the book. Now, who took this and how did you?
Some of these are pictures without copyrights, very old ones. But then when you put the acknowledgement comes from who did this,
Yeah.
and the photographs, the acknowledgement comes from there.
Yes.
But I have to seep through enormous number of volumes,
Yeah.
some of which, and then I went to the museum, spoke to the director, and took the relevant pictures in the museum. And I don't think, as far as I recall, like the museum specimens have been put on a history book like this, which is a hybrid
Yes.
between a academic work
Yeah.
and a popular history.
Yeah.
I needed this bridge. I wanted to be hybrid so that the book will go through, seep through to a greater audience. And the other issue is, perhaps to my knowledge, for the first time, the entire history of Sri Lanka is put into a world context, so that people can look at what we were doing, at the same time what the others were doing. If I may take a minute to explain, now while Queen Anula was murdering, amorous Queen Anula was murdering her lovers and husbands, Julius Caesar was being assassinated in Rome, and Cleopatra is a contemporary of Anula. Both are queens ruling in different parts of the world. We never had that context of putting the world together. That helps us not to always pat ourselves, but also look at others, what they were doing, compare, and at the same time give us the, get the credit for what we have done in a proper world context, not just our own context. So that's another main issue, and those are three of the, and I'm sure I have more, but this question is rather sudden.
Yes, yes.
So I do know, and it's evidence based.
Yeah.
And it's the readers are my jury. They have to, like every jury analyzes the evidence, they will have to analyze the evidence and then pass a verdict. So I leave it to the reader.
Jury will need many more years to pass a verdict on that. මම හිතන්නේ මේ වගේ කෘතියක් කරන්නට බෑ බොහෝ දෙනෙක්ගේ සහයෝගය නැතුව. ඒ ගැන මොකක්ද ඔබතුමා කාටද සූතිවන්ත වෙන්නට කැමති?
Well, most of all, I must thank to be, because this was the whole volume of load, like my history of medicine, was taken on by me. Somebody who could scrutinize and go through. I thank Mr. Yapa's editorial team. They questioned everything, they looked, they asked for evidence. Doctor, you can't say that. Yes, I can. Look at that para in your Mahavamsa, look at it, it is there. Yes, my God, it was there and I never saw it. So you only see it if you look.
Yes.
If you don't look, you don't see it. So likewise, I think a great lot of thanks go to Mr. Yapa's patient and editorial team who checked out everything for me.
Yes.
And that I would, then of course, the people of Sri Lanka for lending me their hospitality, giving me the motives and the incentive to go on.
Brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
So after
yeah. My thanks go to them for when I went to take the pictures at Kalaniya Temple, the Buddhist priest, the guard told me you can't take pictures here. A Buddhist priest himself came down and saw to it that I took the pictures. These are all very moving moments, you see. They cooperate with us to write a history. So in other words, Yapa's team and the people of Sri Lanka, that I owe my thanks.
So you dedicate the book to the people of Sri Lanka.
Of course, yes, that is what I have said. It is for these people, all these people, regardless of ethnicity,
Yes.
get together, learn from the past, and then go forward.
මම හිතන්නේ වෛද්‍ය ඇන්ටන් සෙබස්ටියන් මහත්මයා අවසානයේදී මේ කෘතිය පිළිගන්වන්නේ මේ රටේ ජනතාවට. මම හිතන්නේ හදවතින්ම ඔහු ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයි කියන්නට මට හිතෙන්නම අන්න ඒ කාරණාව නිසා මේ තරම් වටිනා කෘතියක් කළා. Dedicated to the present and future generations of Sri Lanka, in the hope that this book may awaken them to the realities of the past, challenges in the future, and harmony in the future, and bring a closer understanding and harmony between the communities so that they may stand together in restoring the glory and the integrity of the island. Anton Sebastian. ඔබතුමාට ඉතාම සූතිවන්ත වෙනට ඕන අද අපිට මේ කාලය ලබා දුන්නට විජිත යාපා ප්‍රකාශනය A Complete Illustrated History Sri Lanka මේ කෘතිය ගැන සාකච්ඡා කළ ඔබ යම් ආකාරයක දැනුවත් කරන්න මම හිතනවා අප විශ්වාස කරනවා තවත් දිනක නුදුරේදී ඔබ මුණ ගැහෙන්නට අපට හැකි වෙයි කියලා මේ වගේම තොරතුරු දැනගන්නට ඔබගෙන් බොහොම ස්තුතියි ඔබට ආයුබෝවන් කියනවා අපගේ වැඩසටහන සඳහා සහභාගී වුණාට වෛද්‍ය ඇන්ටන් සෙබස්ටියන් මහතාගේ විජිත යාපා ප්‍රකාශනය A Complete Illustrated History Sri Lanka මං හිතන්නේ ඉතාම වටින හැම අතින්ම බරක් දැනෙන කෘතියක් හැටියට හඳුන්වන්නට කැමති අද කොළඹ ජාත්‍යන්තර පොත් ප්‍රදර්ශනයේදී අපට ඔබ වෙත ගෙන එන්නට ඉඩකඩ ලැබුණු හැකියාව ලැබුණු මේ කෘතිය තවත් දවසක රන් පන්හිඳකින් අප මුණ ගැහෙන තෙක් අපි ඔබට ආයුබෝවන් කියනවා අපේ උරුමය වෙනුවෙන් රැඳී සිටින නායිකාව නියුතන කරනවා